Today, we are going to be astronomers studying the phases of the moon. The best time to see the moon is during the night because that is when we can most clearly see the sun's light being reflected on the moon. It takes the moon about 1 month or 29 days to travel in orbit around the Earth. We see different phases of the moon because of the different points the moon is at during its orbit. Now we are going to look at each of the phases of the moon, starting with the full moon and ending with the new moon. New moon is the first phase of the moon, but we cannot see this phase of the moon because the side that is being lit up by the sun is not facing the Earth. The second phase of the moon is waxing crescent because we only see a little sliver of the moon. The moon is waxing because each night we see a little bit more of the moon and it seems to keep increasing inside. The third phase of the moon is the first quarter. We only see half of the moon and it is only visible for the first half of the evening and then it goes down. The fourth phase of the moon is waxing gibbous and we can see most of the moon, all but a little sliver, and during this phase, the moon remains in the sky most of the night. The fifth phase is called full moon, and that is when we can see the entire face of the moon. The sixth phase is called waning gibbous. The word waning means each night we start to see less and less of the moon each night as it returns back to noon. The seventh phase of the moon is called last quarter or third quarter. It is when we can only see half of the moon's lighted surface. The last phase of the moon is a waning crescent. We can see only a small sliver of the moon, and each night we start to see less and less of the moon as it becomes a new moon once again. Now let's say the phases all together now. New moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, last quarter, and waning crescent. Today we learned about each of the phases of the moon, from the new moon being completely dark to the full moon being completely lit up in the sky. We were all amazing astronauts today, studying the phases of the moon. Maybe one day, one of you will be an astronaut, just like Neil Armstrong, who was the first man on the moon.